Hey Ness, this is Mike with Real Life Photography. Sorry if I'm whispering a little bit because I just put the kids to bed. So I just wanted to show you how I would edit these two images. You should be familiar with them because they're yours and you know what the straight out of camera looks like. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply RLP 02 Plus from the push pack. And as you can see, I already like how this looks. It's a little bit dark here on the subject, so what I'm going to simply do is apply a filter, radial filter. I'm going to invert that mask there, and all I'm going to adjust here on that filter, I'm going to give a little bit of exposure, probably somewhere around 0.17. And then I'm going to lift the shadows just a little bit there, and then I'm going to plus up the warmth to about 5 or 7 or so. Then I'm just going to adjust this just a little bit, and I think I'll leave that, and then I think I'll up the overall exposure just a tad, so that's at 0.17 as well. And then I would leave that exactly the way it is. I think it's perfect. The greens with the browns from the tall grass. So let's move to the second one. And this will be a little tougher, but it's all right because when I shoot, I try to find at least one side. I try not to shoot in too much of flat light, and this is kind of a flat light situation. So in this situation, I would have maybe, if I could, just move her a little bit closer to the light source, so at least you have some defined highlights and some defined shadows. So for this one, I think I will use let's see what RLP 8 looks like. I might have to tweak it a little bit, but this one's free and you can find it in the Dropbox folder. So I'm going to raise up the exposure a bit. I'm going to play with the white balance a little. And it's just too much pink. So seeing that it's too much pink, I think I will switch and I will go to RLP probably 03 plus there. And I'm setting at about 0.84 on the exposure, and then I'm going to warm this up a little bit. That's sitting about 4750 on the temperature. I'm going to crank up some of the contrast just a little bit, +5. Add a little bit of vibrance, and I think I will add a little bit more luminance to the oranges, just a little bit. And I'm cranking up the luminance to the reds right now just to see what all is changing. I think I'll go to +39 on the luminance for the reds, and then maybe crank up the red saturation to about -12. And let's see here, I think let's see, I don't know, we'll play with this one a little bit more. So I added a little bit tint. I'm going to go back to what it was. Let me try a couple more things. I'm going to reset this one. So it's just difficult to deal with a flat light. It's just not going to be, I don't think it's going to be very flattering from the get-go. It's not a knock on your photo. I shoot in flat lights sometimes. I try to avoid it when I can. So this is RLP 01, exposure at 1.07. Drop up the highlights a little bit. Bring down the shadows, and I think maybe, let's see, drop the blacks to about +10, add just a touch of clarity, +3, I think somewhere right in there. Maybe this image, I don't know, that doesn't look too bad. I like it. Overall, the edit, the first one I really liked. This one I'm not convinced that it's perfect yet. I'll reset one more time. Maybe I would just do a black and white in this instance. raise the highlights a little bit. Maybe I would use a radial. Lift the shadows a little bit. No. Yeah, I'm not convinced on what I would like on this one. I think the best way we went was RLP 01, maybe RLP 01 plus instead. Lift that. Give you got just a touch of pinks in there. You can tell here there's a lot of pink around here. I think it's mainly casting maybe off of her shirt. And in that case, I'll just raise up the exposure a little bit. Drop the tint, the overall tint down a little bit. Contrast. A little bit more on the highlights. Lift the shadows. Yeah. Lift the blacks a little bit. Go down here and see if I can play with some of the saturation again. Raise the luminance up a little bit on the reds there, and I think I'll go +6 on the clarity. So overall, I think that's how I would leave it for this photo. It's tough because of the flat light. But I think this one turned out well. I think RLP 02 plus would do wonders on this photo. It's very nice background, and I like all the colors here. So hopefully that was helpful. If not, I'm sorry. But I would love to see more of your photos. If you have some more that you would like edited to see how the presets would look on them, I'd be more than happy to do it. So hope you have a good night. Hopefully you can hear me from all my whispers, but have a good night.